Visionaires. This is your girl, Devette from Just Chilling with Beyond a Vision. Well, as I promised you, this is food preparation, water bath canning class, and this is part 2 of 3. I hope you got a lot out of the first video. And as I promised, this video is going to be about showing you what you need to can with. So if you don't have these products, I would advise you to go to the store and invest in them because they're a great investment, I promise you. Okay, I guess the jars is one that I'll talk to you about, and the 4-ounce jar. Usually with this jar, they use it for jellies and things of that nature. I have the rings on here. These are the rings that you put on here. But actually within the rings, there's a lid that goes on here. This is a box of lids. You don't want to just open these lids up and play around with them because these are very, very expensive. So I won't use that, but I will show you that this is a 4-ounce jar. Okay, this is a 6-ounce jar. Now with this jar, if I make apple butter, if I make some kind of jelly or whatever, I'll put in here or in the 4-ounce jar. Okay, so and these take regular mouth lids. Basically everything I'm going to show you first, they all use the same type of lid, and this is a regular lid. Yep, they call them regular mouth lids. Okay, now the next thing I have is a pint. This is a pint size jar, and or you just want to do something small, you don't want to really do nothing large, then you have your 16-ounce jar. I don't really do too much of nothing with 16-ounce jars because my family says no. My family is a little bit bigger. So now we have, this is a 32-ounce regular mouth lid. I mean regular mouth jar. And if you're going to put something in here that needs to come out easy, I don't really think you want to use these. I mean, I use them a lot, but you got to look at that little neck part right there. I don't use regular mouth 32 ounces that often, but I will. I have some, so I will use them. Okay, now we have 16-ounce wide mouth. If you notice, they go straight up and down. They go straight up and down, and you can get more food in here. And like if you got something you just want to stick in and just let it sit up, like, this is your best bet because this is easier to get out. Okay, now this is funny. This is very funny because this is a 20-ounce jar, and as you can tell, these take wide mouth lids. Here is my wide mouth lid box for my wide mouth lids. And again, I won't take none out, but it is for my wide mouth. Okay, so if you look at this, this is what I call my meatball and sausage jar. I make sausages and meatballs. Like if I have patty, I put them in here. I don't can bacon in here. Bacon goes in these. And canning bacon is something that, it's a different thing. But in any case, that's what this jar is for. And this is, again, a 20-ounce jar. Okay, last but not least, this is our 32-ounce jar, and it is our wide mouth jar. If you say, for the most part, it goes up and down. Yep, it goes up and down. And usually when I do meals in a jar, I do them in these. I do meals in a jar in these because you get more out of it. Actually, you get more. Okay, so those are the jars. Okay, now, okay, I was bending over because my camera had me all bent over. Okay, so those was the jars. Now, just to let you know, before you start canning, these are our gloves. This is my work shirt. I didn't put nothing over my head because we're not really canning, but I usually have something over my head at this time, okay? And these are gloves. I have lots and lots and lots of gloves. But as I told you earlier, these are our canning lids. These are our regular mouth lids, and these are our wide mouth lids. And they are a must. And as I told you before, you don't want to duplicate the use of them. These are canning funnels. So when you put these inside the jar, okay, you put these inside the jar, and again, you get your raw pack, whatever you want to do. But when you put your product inside of the jar, then you have a funnel. You have the funnel, and you have your ladle. And you go in there, get your stuff out, and you put your liquids in here, whatever you're doing. You have to, yeah, that's what this is for, and that's what this is for. We use those to keep from making a big mess. Okay, well, I'm just showing you this because I bought this, but I don't really use this. I use something else, but I just didn't put it out here. But this is a jar washer. You wash your jars. Wash your jars to make sure your jars are clean with good soapy water. Yeah. Yep. Make sure your jars are clean with good soapy water with this. Okay. Now, okay. This is a lid. Now, this is one of our old lids. But this lid, it's funny. This lid came off when I called it Little Wheezy Red Bean Mix. This was when I made some red beans and white rice mix, but I didn't put the rice in it because rice is not supposed to be canned. So it's the mix for the red beans and rice, and it was delicious with hamburger, sausages, beans, all the seasoning, bell pepper, onions, celery. It was the bomb. But to show you what this is for, if you look at the tip, there's a magnet here. And you use this to you pick this up out of your water, your hot water, warm water, whatever, and you just put it on here. And then it stays. Okay? You do, and see, the magnet picks it up again. So that's what this is for. That's what the magnet is for. Okay. Now, the next thing, now, I'm going to tell you something. I'll tell you one of the reasons why I told you not, oh my goodness, not to pick up a jar with your hand. Let me use this as an example. I'm gonna put this lid inside of here, on here, and then we're gonna screw this down. Okay, in the first place, when you put your jars in the water, you only put them on fingertip tight. You don't squeeze it because your lids are buckled. Here the lid that lets you know this is not it's not tight. It's not supposed to. But anyhow, you're only supposed to put the lid on finger tight. Now just think while it's in that roaring water. Okay? If it's in that roaring water, when it first come out, it's not supposed to seal. It seals. Sometimes they seal in the water, but sometimes they wait till you take them out and put them on the counter, and then that's when they seal. But just think of being in that water, because you only do this fingertip tight. Only fingertip tight, not no, you don't do that. But just think, if you did this in the water, fingertip tight, in the water, the lid is just moving. It's moving because there's a roaring boil. Roaring boil. So therefore it might loosen up the top. But I'm just gonna show you. Let's just say the top loosens up. I'm gonna show you something. Okay? If you try to pick it up with your hand and it's only finger and it doesn't loosen, now watch carefully. Okay? Watch carefully. Phew! All this hot stuff. Boom! It hits the floor. Boom! Everything in it. It hits the floor. It's hot. Oh my God, you done got burned. Is that what you want? That's not what I want for you. So this is the proper way to do it. Whether the lid loosens up or not, it's gonna seal. If it's gonna seal, it will seal. But this is what we do. We do fingertip tight. So when we get ready to get the jar out of the water, we don't grab it up here at the top right here, because that's not grabbing nothing. But there is, up under the jar, there's always a line. That's the 1 inch line. Did they say fill to the 1 inch line? This right here is your 1 inch line. This thing right here. Now look, you take, this is the jar grabber, okay? You take it and you put it up under that line and you squeeze and you take it out of the jar, out of the water, the roaring water. You take it out. But you want, I'm telling you something, I didn't bring one with me, but you want to have something up under your hand when you're taking it out. A mat. I think I'm gonna get back to making my things again. Well, for now, I'll just right now I just use a towel, or I use a hand mitt. I have a lot of those. So you just take this and you take it and you put it where you want it to go, okay? And make sure it's on something. Make sure you put it on something that is not cold, is not, what's that, granite people have? It's not on granite, it's not on a cold surface, because you just came out of a very hot roaring boil surface, and your jars, you'll see on the next video how the jars look when they are boiling. When you get finished cooking them, they're still boiling on the inside of that jar. You see bubbles. I had a young lady on the phone with me. I had her on the phone, and I took a picture of the jar that was hot, and I took it I gave her that jar, but it was the day before I took it out, and she said, "What is that?" I said, "Yes, those are bubbles." It's still boiling inside of the jar, and as it boils, that pressure seals the jar. If it's gonna seal, it seals the jar. More than likely than not, that jar will seal. if you do everything correctly. Now, I think I bypassed a little bit because this is what you should have done at first. When you sterilize your jars, as I told you earlier, your jars must be sterilized. Okay? They say you don't. I say you do. I told you earlier, they come up with all these different rules. They change everything. You don't like overboil your lids. Well, I don't overboil them, but I do make sure that they've been cleaned real good and they sitting inside some hot water. Okay? But I don't do the boil thing because they say it messes with the I do. I got one right in my face. Okay. They say it messes with the lid, the inside. See that ring in there? It said it messes with the ring if you boil it. Well, I don't boil it, but I definitely keep them in hot water because I want them to be nice and lubricated by the time I get ready to put them on the jar. Let me show you what this is. We'll get back to our two friends, the paper towel and the vinegar. Okay, so most things, that's why I say follow the rules and follow the directions. Most things say you want to have it at a 1-inch headspace. Okay? Oh, I'm thinking you can see me. A 1-inch headspace. Okay? So you do like this. But as I said, this ring that comes around, and you can see, because if you go in your kitchen right now, look at a jar, you'll see your jar has a space around it. And with that space that it has around it, that's at a 1-inch head space. One is a 1/4 inch head space. Then the next one's a 1/2 inch head space. Then 3/4 inch of a head space. And the last notch is a 1-inch head space. And this is what you put on your jars. You make sure that your jars are the way they are supposed to be. Okay? So that's that. Now let's just say you done canned your stuff. Oh, before we even get to that part. The other part to this, there's another edge. Now, I'll tell you, never use metal in your jars. Never, never, never use metal in your jars. Because you can give them a hair, what they say, a hairline. Yeah, a hairline split in the jars. And you won't even see it. And then sometimes you'll see it, but a lot of times you won't see it. And then your jars could break inside of the water. And I'm going to show you my pot too. I have, I call them prison pots, but I have some big pots. But I received these two blessed individuals. I love them so much. They blessed me with a water bath canner. I thank them so very much. God bless y'all, and I love y'all for it. But this is what we can use as a debubbler. Now let me tell you about a debubbler. Let's just say you got apples in here, and you saying, well, I done put all the apples in here, and I done put the fluid, whatever liquid, I'm going to use water, I'm going to use juice, I'm going to use whatever the directions say you use, that's what you use. Not what you want to use. No, don't do what you want to do. It's not about you. This is about following the rules. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Because if you don't listen, you try to go up and do it on your own, I promise you, warning comes before destruction. So, this is what they call a debubbler. You're going to go, after you get all your stuff in there, you're going to get your liquid and stuff in here. You're going to go down on the side. I'm touching the edges. All the edges. All the way around. And then you try the middle. Make sure that all the bubbles that's in there, when you do this, all the bubbles are going to come to the top. Ooh. If you know how bubbles come up, they're going to come up to the top, but you're going to go all the way around the edge and be very careful. Don't smash your stuff up and go around the edges. Okay, and then when you get finished doing that, the next thing you're going to do is get your friend the vinegar, and back to the paper towel again. You're going to get you a little small container, and you're going to put you some vinegar in it. And then when you put your vinegar in, some people say they don't use vinegar. Well, I just think vinegar is a little safe for me, so I use vinegar. Now, I do know that vinegar will rust the round, this part, after so long. Vinegar will rust these, but thank God for Jesus, these are not what touches your food. These are actually just holding the lids in place so they can seal. We're just trying, hear that noise? If you take something out and just sit for some hours and you can still do this, there's no seal. What'll happen is you do the test and that'll come up. Been there, done that. But you'll take the paper and you'll cut off, tear some in the spot and get you some vinegar and put it on there, and you'll just wipe your edges. You're going to just wipe your edges. But let me tell you, I call it finessing the edges. You're going to finesse these edges, and you're going to do it so nice, soft, and gentle. Tell you why. Because sometimes there can be a chip in here. And if you just go, what you going to feel? You ain't going to feel nothing. You have to finesse the top. You actually have to finesse it. And when you do that, if it's a crack in there, then you know then, oh, go get another jar. This jar is not going to get it. And when you realize you can't use this jar, then you'll get rid of it and you'll get you another jar in its place. When you have to get another jar in its place, you're going to do the same thing to that jar. You're going to finesse it to make sure that that jar is in a position it can be used. You're going to wipe it off like you did the other one and make sure everything is fine. You're going to debubble the product back again because we still need to bring them bubbles up to the top. We're going to put the lid on. We're going to hold the lid with our finger, hold it down in the middle like this, and we're going to put the lid on. And again, like I said, we're going to go finger. We just want to make sure that it's just finger, because it's not about the lid. It's not about the ring. The ring is just holding the lid in place into the pressure, because the pressure is what's going to seal these lids. So once the lid is sealed, we won't be able to do that anymore. And then you're going to be fine. Okay, so let me show you something else. This is what goes down. Remember I told you you never put a pot down in the bottom of the, you never put a jar down on the bottom of the pot. You need something. I'm just getting this together to show you. You need something that's between the pot and the fire, because you don't want this jar sitting directly on the fire. So this jar is like a conduit that prevents it from just sitting there. Okay, now let me show you the the water bath canner. Woo. Okay. So this is our water bath canner. Hello. Okay, this is the water bath canner. Okay, and with this, we put the down the side of here, and it prevents the jars from sitting down directly on the bottom of here. So we can prevent our jars from messing up. Okay, so and this is the top that goes on there. That goes on here and everything. Okay, now let me show you something. The next thing I want to show you, I told you that when you put the liquid inside your jars to make sure you're bringing them up to the head space, that you got this. And that's when you have another pot with water or whatever you're going to use, kettle, and you pour your water juice down in there. And I told you about, you use this in there so you can keep from making a big mess. Because this is a bigger rim and your jar's not that big. So you put this on here and then it does that. Okay, now, a couple things happen. Okay, let's just say I did my jar. Let's just say my recipe say my jars, my products stay in there for 20 minutes. Okay, so this is what we do. First things first. If you're gonna do hot, if you're gonna do cold, raw packing, cold pack, whatever you want to call it, you put your products inside your jar, and you put your water, whatever you're gonna put in there, you put it in there. Okay. Okay. So you put the top on with the lid. You put the top on, fingertip tight. Okay, so you just sit it down inside of there. Okay, so together the water and the product is going to come to temp together, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, if you got something that's extremely hot, let's just say them tomatoes we were doing. Let's just say we was doing a tomato sauce, a spaghetti sauce, a tomato sauce. So with that being said, we're going to have hot, the tomato mixture is going to be hot. You're going to spoon it up, put it in the jar. It's going to be hot, and clean off the lid, put it in there. Okay, so it's going to be hot. So we're going to need to take our canner, and we're going to need to put water in it, and we're going to have to make sure that it's hot already. Not the roaring boil, but we want to have it hot. Now, one of the things I want you to know about water bath canning. I think I mentioned it, but if I didn't, I want to make sure I do. The water bath canning, you take 1 to 2 inches above the jar. So in this canner, you're going to have your jars in here. Your jars is going to be in here, but you're going to have 1 to 2 inches of water above the jar, like up here somewhere. And you're going to put that in there, and this is where the roaring boil come in at. But first you're going to have to let it go, and when it comes up to the roaring boil, you let it boil for 10 minutes, really hard, real vigorously. You know, like that the storm was with Jonah when he was on the ship and the ship was going back and forth. Well, that's the same way that water needs to be going inside that canner. It needs to be going just like it was with Jonah. That storm was with Jonah. It needs to be going the same way. Now, with that being said, you let that go for 10 minutes. So you need to have something, whether it's your phone, your stove, or something, another phone, or anything. Alexa, hey Google. I'm glad I'm downstairs so don't nobody hear me, because they'd be like, what can I do for you, and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, so turn around here and you have it set the time. Okay, once it goes for 10 minutes, with that vigorous boil and your jars are in there, then if it say for 20 minutes, you let it then start. You go for that 10 minutes. Okay, once that 10 minutes, beep, 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 beep. Then you say, okay, we set Alexa 20 minutes. And Alexa gonna go for 20 minutes. You don't want to turn the stove down. You won't do anything. You want that water to stay at a vigorous boil. You want it to be roaring, 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 roaring. And you want to do that and for 20 minutes. Okay? Now, you set that for 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes, then you turn around here and beep, 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 beep. Turn that off. When you turn it off, you don't take nothing off of it. You don't do anything. You just let it sit there for 5 more minutes till it start coming down some. Now, me, myself, when it comes down some, you know what I do? I take the top off a little bit. I don't take it off the whole way. I let some air start coming to it. You know what I'm saying? And I let it start cooling down another 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever I decide. So then after that, when it's done cooled off, then I go and take these, as I said earlier, grab them, have something in my hand, sit it to the side. You know what I'm saying? Sit it on the thing. I always do it in the kitchen. With the stove. I have a mat there and I sit them on the mat. Okay. So then after then, they're going to be boiling in the jar. Don't get scared. They ain't finna blow up. Ain't nothing finna blow up on you unless you do something silly. You don't follow directions. Because not only are you going to follow my directions, but you're going to follow these canning books up here. Then you're going to see the National Home Books. And then there's a telephone number. This is for Macomb. This is in my area. But nevertheless, you can still call them. So those things are going to be up there. And so once you let them sit overnight, then the next day you're going to come down. You're going to take your lids off. You're going to take your lids off. When you take the lids off, when you take the lids off, and but you want to have it on the cabinet. I just can't put it on the cabinet because my camera's not showing down here. So if you put it on the cabinet and the lid is if it's stuck on there, like you go to lift it up and it's stuck and don't just come up off of here, then you have a seal. You look down, if it don't make this noise, you have a seal. So then you just let it sit for a while longer. And you just take these lids off of them. Take the lids off of them. Let them sit there. As long as they come up like this when you pick them up at the edges, by that top, as long as they come up, whew, you have some sealed jars. Okay. So, your next step. You're going to wash your jars. So you're going to get you some soapy water. What? But soap gonna get on my food. And my food gonna be tasting nasty. It's gonna taste like soap. The devil is a lie and the truth ain't in them. Once you have a complete seal on these jars, that's the part of sealing the jars. Nothing in, nothing out. That's why I told you about making sure you got something in your head, probably some glasses or goggles or something. Have on an apron, have on gloves. Make sure your area is sanitized. Everything is fine. Copacetic, all that good stuff. So nothing's going to get in these jars. Nothing whatsoever. So you can take these jars and wash them. Now, you in this jar and this jar get the top come off of it. That jar ain't no good anyhow. It can't go to your shelf. Now, another thing. Woo, Holy Ghost. Okay, this is something I want to bring to your attention. Okay, so I don't have that much room, and I need to find a place to put my jars at. So I'm going to stack these jars on top of each other, and then I can have me more room for my jars. So I can stick this, oh, wow. And I can do this. And I got all these jars on top of each other, and I got all this room. Boom. 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 No, that's not what we're doing. You cannot sit that jar on top of that next jar. You always need about this much room so that you can pick that jar up and do checks on that jar all the time. Okay? Remember that. But I tell you, the canning lid companies say that the lids are to last 18 months. But let me tell you something. As long as the lids don't break they seal, that food is still perfectly good. That's why you don't stack anything on top of it. That food is still perfectly good. I have food from 2022. I just ate some steak, made some steak fajitas and some burritos. With some steak and roast meat I had from 2022. February to be exact. No, March. Yeah, March. So you can have it, and it tasted just like had chicken. You want to rotate, you want to eat. If you're putting stuff in, you want to bring the stuff. Like, I got a spot for my old jars, spot for my new jars. Okay, the old jars, we're eating off of them. We're bringing them to the front and we're eating off of them. The ones that I'm doing now, then they can go to the next level. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, you don't want to stack your jars on top of each other. What you want to do is bring jars, get you a box, a couple boxes, find you up under a cabinet. Somewhere where it's cool, and somewhere where it's going to be cool and where it's going to be dark at, and put your stuff. If you got a basement, down in your basement. Not sure about a garage, because I think a garage gets too cold. But whatever, find a spot that's cool to put your jars in. And eat them. Eat them. Put more in, but eat. Keep on rotating. Just keep rotating. Well, okay, so we done washed the jars. We done got to the point where we done washed the jars, rinse them, wipe them down real good. Make sure we got around the top of the edges. We want to make sure we get around these edges. Well, I don't have the lid on the jar, but around the edges, because we don't want any food sitting there. You understand? We don't want anything, because sometimes jars cipher. So when they siphoning, whatever, it will leak out a little bit before it actually seals. So we have to be very careful. Okay? But once we clean the jars and everything, then this is where, I don't know where my scissors is right now, but that's where the tape and the labels come in at. Got some jars right now. I got some baked beans right now that I got a label. It says baked beans, burger, bacon, beans, sauce, syrup, brown sugar, onion, bell pepper. When you cook it, you don't put butter inside your jars. So when you take out, you're going to probably need a little bit more sugar if that's what you all like, and put your butter in there. And yes. So these are some labels that I have to put on. But you put your labels on. You tape them down. And then your jars are perfectly welcome to go wherever you put your jars at. Just don't put them in the attic. Heat goes to the attic. You don't want them in the attic. No, you don't. But there's places, I'm sure you can find places. If I came to your house right now, I can find a place for you to put your jars that I promised you. So. Yep, well, I think I have hit everything. Let me make sure, because the next video that you hear will be Yep. The next thing you hear will be the fact that we're gonna be canning something. So what we did was we checked the ingredients, we prepared the jars and the lids as I told you. We prepared the boiling water as I said. In the canner, we prepared the food as I told you. We filled the jars, we filled the canner, we processed them at the time they're supposed to be processed for. We gave them the cool down period. Then we removed the jars. We washed and cleaned the jars and we stored the jars. Okay, and I told you what to do if the jars was unsealed. So we went through everything. And it's definitely been a pleasure being able to assist you, to talk to you, to help you along this way. I hope something was said or done to be a blessing to you, and also wanted you to know, please stop looking through the keyhole. Look at the big picture. Please do that. Obedience is better than sacrifice. As I've told you time and time again, this can be very dangerous if you don't follow the directions. Just like we as Christians, we have to follow the Word of God, those 66 books. You have to follow these books. You have to follow them. If you have any questions, then there's a number in this video. There's a website in this video. Feel free to go to my ask questions. Please like, share, and subscribe. As I told you before, I'm not asking for anything, but you must realize somebody's taking time out of their busy schedule to present this for you and to show you, to talk you through. I mean, if you want to be a blessing, do so. If not, then I definitely understand. No love lost. I still love you just the same. And there's nothing you can do about it. Praise God. All right. Well, again, my name is Yvette from Just Chilling with Beyond a Vision. And again, keep looking through the big picture, not through the keyhole. And the Lord said the same, in the creek don't rise. We will be having another video. And the next video and the last video for this video will be showing us canning. All the things I've showed you, you're going to see it in action. All right. Love you. And God bless you.